once again, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time joining us here today. Hi, my name is Hannah. I make a lot of random videos and I mess with my hair a lot. Welcome to the channel. So today's video is just like this, I don't want to say random, but it's kind of like a little random idea that I had the other day, and I just thought that I would kind of combine several different crappy restaurant experiences into this one singular video, because I've never really told any stories about any restaurants that my boyfriend and I have been to, and we have had some really great experiences and we've had some that were really subpar. So today I'm going to be telling you about some of those subpar experiences, because some of them were I'm just being nitpicky as usual. You guys know sometimes I'm like that. It's a fault of mine. And then other times it was like a serious problem and I really should have called a manager and gotten a refund, but I didn't, because I'm just not that kind of person. I'm really anti-confrontation. So anyway, let's get into this. Okay, so the first place that I want to talk about is one of the first places my boyfriend and I ever went on a date, and it is Outback Steakhouse. And Outback Steakhouse is usually a really great place to go and eat, and I usually am like obsessed with their food. But this one particular time, you know, we went there and it was like on a Friday or Saturday, so it was really busy, and we understood that. It was like a 25-minute wait or whatever, so that wasn't that big of a deal to us. We don't really mind waiting, especially if we know that they're busy. It's not that big of a deal. So we waited and we finally got our table, and this is one of those experiences where it wasn't super bad, but it was bad enough to kind of deter me from going for a little while. So basically what happened is our waiter was obviously new and he didn't have anyone helping him. And he only had two tables, our table and the table across from us, and both of us had issues with him, my table and the other table that he was taking care of. So I don't know what was wrong with their food, but it was a whole big ordeal, and I felt really bad for the guy, because like I know what it's like to be new at a job and to not really know what you're doing and make mistakes, and you know, it happens, it's fine. But he messed up their food and he spilled stuff over our table. Like he spilled it once and I think it was a drink. He spilled a drink across the table, and then the second time he almost spilled it, but he didn't really spill it that much. So, and also it took us 25 minutes to get drinks. So we sat down and it took us 25 minutes after our 25-minute wait to get drinks, which was kind of a big mistake for me, because he had us and the table across from us. That was it. And that's kind of another thing how I knew that he was new, because he just had those two tables. That was all he was doing. So for it to take 20 or 25 minutes, it was definitely at least 20 minutes until we got our actual just drinks, was like kind of crazy to me. And my boyfriend thought so too. He was really upset about it, but I wasn't as upset because I could understand what it's like to be new. I've never been a waitress before, but I could see how the pressure could really get to you. So basically he took forever to get anything done. We were there for like 2 hours because he took so long. So my boyfriend didn't want to give him a tip really, because he was so bad, but we ended up giving him like $3 or $4, because I don't know, I just feel like it's really, unless your service is just extremely bad, excuse my language, but unless the service is just piss poor, I'm gonna give a tip, at least a little bit. So, you know, we gave him the $3 or $4, but it was just a really bad experience, because he took 20 to 25 minutes on everything. Like, we were gonna get dessert. I don't even think we got dessert. No, we did get dessert. We got dessert. It took forever, but we got dessert, and we both had the wrong thing. He didn't bring us the right dessert, and he didn't come back for us to tell him. So we were kind of stuck with that dessert, and it sucked. So that story wasn't like the worst of it. It was okay. But the next story I'm going to tell you really made me mad, like to the point where I really almost caused a scene. So, we decided to try a new restaurant a couple months ago because Texas Roadhouse is our #1 go-to place. It is amazing. Best food I've ever had at a restaurant. So that's our go-to place. Well, we decided, hey, this week let's go to a new place because everybody was telling us, go to Longhorn Steakhouse, go to Longhorn Steakhouse. It's gonna be amazing. So we went, and I like my steak burnt, like burnt. So, and that makes it extremely hard to cut. So I don't usually order steak at a restaurant. So I usually get the chicken. Whatever their chicken dishes are, I get it. The problem with Longhorn is that their menu is very nondescript. They don't have the standard description underneath the stuff. Like, it's very brief, which some would argue is good, I would argue is bad in this situation. They only really had one chicken dish that I could see, so that's what I ordered. And it said something along the lines of, our famous grilled chicken in our creamy white cheese sauce or whatever. So I was like, hey, that sounds really good. So we waited and waited. It took forever to get to us, and they weren't even busy. And when we finally got it, of course, I cut my chicken. I get me a big old piece. I stir it around in the creamy sauce. You want to know what the sauce was? Horseradish. There was horseradish in the sauce. There was no mention of horseradish in the menu. Nothing to prepare me that there would be horseradish. And I am the type of person, I know horseradish can be very polarizing. I'm the type of person who hates it. I despise it. It literally makes me gag. It is so disgusting. So when they brought that to me and I ate that huge, gigantic bite because I expected it to be a cheese, I literally had to spit it out in the plate, which I never do. I find that incredibly disgusting and rude, but I had to do that so that I did not vomit all over the table. There's just certain things that make me have to vomit on tasting them, and that is one of them. That's why I avoid horseradish at all costs. I don't know if horseradish is even supposed to be in that dish, but it was chock full of it. Like, it was disgusting. At first, I thought I may be overreacting because my boyfriend was looking at me like I was insane. So I picked up another piece that I had already cut and I handed it to my boyfriend and I said, taste this. And he tasted it, and it was horseradish. Like, we both know what horseradish tastes like, and that was it. What the heck? Who does that? So I was ready to call a manager, but I didn't want to cause a scene, so I didn't eat it. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just get the dessert. I'll get dessert and it'll be fine. Their dessert was a chocolate brownie with ice cream on top. They brought it out to me with no ice cream and said, sorry, we're out of ice cream. Most places would ask you if you still want it after they find out that they don't have any ice cream. And to top it off, they bring it to you in a cast iron skillet, and it's extremely hot, so it's still cooking. The bottom of the brownie was like charred. It was black, it was burnt, it smelled terrible. I still took a bite, and it was as disgusting as you would imagine a burnt brownie would taste. It was nasty. Everything I ate at this place was absolutely nasty. So I definitely wouldn't recommend that because it's just bad. It was bad, and they weren't even busy. So there's really no excuse. I don't see any excuse to why that should be acceptable. Now let's talk about a more recent occasion. Just last week, we went to a lovely little restaurant called Grandy's, which is described as a home cooking southern restaurant, which is your first mistake because it's a chain restaurant. So, I don't like Cracker Barrel because it doesn't taste good, and when you're used to southern cooking, you know what it tastes like, and let me just tell you, Cracker Barrel ain't it, and neither is Grandy's. So I ordered the fried chicken with 2 sides. I got the fried chicken, I got the corn and mashed potatoes with brown gravy. Now, on paper, that is a delicious meal that I would eat in a heartbeat, like instantly. If my mama fixed me that, I would eat it no problem. And I figured that this place would be good because it's like described as like your grandma's cooking. And a lot of people I know like Grandy's. So I was like, okay, well, we'll check it out. So we go and I got that. First of all, we were sitting there waiting for 30 minutes because they forgot to cook our food. They forgot. It was us and one other family in there because it was like 7 o'clock at night. Nobody was in there. They just forgot to cook our food. That was annoying. So we waited and waited for that. And when we finally got it, my chicken was cold, my corn was cold, and my potatoes were barely warm. So I was like, whatever, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Corn tasted like it was poured straight out of a can with no seasoning. The chicken tasted like just nothing. It was bad, no seasoning. It also kind of still tasted frozen, so that was gross. And then the mashed potatoes and gravy were okay, but they had this weird twang to them that was just off. Like, it was just not good. So I was like, no thank you. That was all I got. I tried their cornbread. The cornbread is okay. It's sweet cornbread, but not super sweet, so it's all right. I've heard that their rolls are good, but I'm not going to go to a restaurant and just get rolls. Like, that's stupid. No. I know a lot of y'all in the comments are going to say that I'm nitpicky and this is a first world problem, and I will agree with you, but it is my opinion that these restaurants need to step their game up, so I'm entitled to have that opinion. Thank you guys once again so much for joining me again today. Leave me a like if you like this video. Comment down below. Tell me your bad restaurant stories. And subscribe because I make new videos every Monday and Friday. Thank you guys once again so much for joining me today. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.